While many of us travel in RV to get away from technology and back to nature, sometimes we just need access to the internet. And while most campgrounds have pretty unstable Wi-Fi, there are some really good options out there to help get you up and running for work or just simply entertainment purposes. Now, one of those options is to install Starlink, of which we do have a video walkthrough that I will go ahead and link in the description. But another great option is the Winegard Gateway 4G LTE router, especially if your RV is prepped like this one is. So what tools are we going to need for this install? Well, of course, you're going to need the Winegard 4G router itself. You're also going to want a Phillips screwdriver and wire cutter / crimper. All right, the first step is to simply locate and remove the two screws holding the interior cap to the ceiling. Then you want to pull the 12-volt power cables and the 3 antenna cables down through the hole. If you're unsure which wire is power and which is ground, use a multimeter to help determine and then mark the power wire. We now recommend disconnecting from shore power and removing the negative cable from your RV battery to remove power to the antenna. Next, thread all the cables through the guide hole in the router's mounting bracket. Align the mounting bracket by aligning the bracket's hole with the hole in the ceiling, ensuring that the bracket is parallel with the walls of the RV. Then secure the mounting bracket to the ceiling using the 4 screws that came with the router kit. Next, plug the Wi-Fi cable with the red tubing into slot number 2 in the back of the router. Then plug the 4G LTE cables into the back of the router. Yellow goes into slot number 4 and green goes into slot number 5. After that, connect the 12-volt power wire from the gateway to a small red terminal insulator and crimp the connector. Then slide the ground wire from the gateway into one end of the barrel crimp splice and crimp that end. We then want to strip the end of the RV's ground wire and insert it into the other end of the barrel crimp splice and crimp that end, ultimately connecting the RV and gateway ground wires. Now you want to strip the end of the RV's power wire and slide it into the remaining small red terminal insulator and crimp that connector. Connect the gateway power and ground wire harness to the gateway. While not a necessary step, we do recommend installing the supplied power switch so the gateway isn't unnecessarily draining your battery when not in use. To install the switch, use a 1 1/4 inch hole saw to cut a hole in the ceiling or nearby wall. Just be aware that if you choose a wall installation, you'll most likely have to connect and install longer wires due to the distance. Once the hole is made, take the 12-volt power wire from the RV and fish it through the hole you just created. Ensure the switch is in the off position and connect it to the isolated spade on the power switch. Next, feed the power wire from the gateway into the 1 1/4 inch hole and connect it to the middle spade on the power switch. As a side note, if you need a little more space to work with, you can temporarily remove the mounting bracket. Now, reconnect the RV battery and plug into shore power. You want to verify that all connections are properly made and check that the LED on the back of the router turns on when the power switch is turned on. Gently feed all cabling back up through the guide hole into the mounting bracket and push the router into the bracket's mating hooks. Then, slide the router until it catches on the hooks and locks into place. You should hear an audible click when it's locked in place. Then, carefully attach the power switch plate to the ceiling or wall using the 2 screws provided. You can now connect to Wi-Fi using the instructions and password found in the owner's manual. Now, if you'd prefer to use Starlink over 4G LTE and want to know how to install that, simply click on the next video. Thanks for watching. I'm Ian Baker, and until next time, we'll see you.